The BMW F30, an all-around good car, decent power, good handling, and overall reliable. This 8.8-inch screen just doesn't cut it anymore. It's almost useless by 2024 standards. But thankfully, there's one thing better. And it starts with this adapter right here. Welcome back. I'm Dylan with Beamer Tech, and the 8.8-inch screen that you find in your F30 with Evo head unit is pretty impressive, but if you want something bigger, like this 10.25-inch touchscreen that you find in the G30, well, you're going to need this, our 10.25-inch screen adapter. Now, this adapter is pretty ingenious and is designed to fit right into the factory mounting locations of your current screen, and then the 10.25-inch screen will sit right on top of that. Now, while the touchscreen is sold separately, we are going to include the hardware that you need to install the screen to the adapter. When placing your order, you do have the option to add one of these screens and a coding cable. Now, you're going to need the coding cable because you do need to do some remote coding to your BMW to get the screen to work properly. For more information about Beamer Tech remote coding sessions, how they work, what coding cable you need, and so on, check the link in the description. This kit is specifically for the BMW F30 and other BMWs built on the same chassis, such as the F80 and so on. To check to see if this part is compatible with your BMW, head on over to our website and enter your VIN. With all of that out of the way, let's get to the installation on our F30. No, seriously, let's get to it. Let's go. Meet me over there. Hey, I'm back. So, one of the things you might want to do first is actually put your screen in the adapter. You could do it in the car, but it's going to be easier to show and a little bit easier to do now. So let's do that. All right, so you're going to slide these two pegs right here into these two slots, like so. And then you're going to use the supplied hardware, which in this case are two 8mm bolts. This is an early access kit, so the hardware might change in the future, but right now, 8mm bolts. Not too tight, but tight enough. All right, let's go put it in the car. All right, now we're gonna get started with the installation. It's super easy. You just need a couple tools. One, like a T20 bit on your screwdriver, and you're going to need a Beamer Tech trim tool, both of which you can find in our DIY Essentials Kit and Trim Tool Kit. As you can see on our screen, just to get this out of the way, it says no signal. Spoiler alert, remember when I said this needs some remote coding? We went ahead and did that already, so right now this car is looking for the 10.25-inch screen. That's the 8.8-inch screen. We're gonna get rid of that. Anytime you're dealing with electronics in your vehicle, we do recommend that you disconnect the battery, but personally, we're just gonna skip it for this one and get to the installation. So, step one is to remove this trim. I suggest on your BMW using a trim tool. We've done it so many times in this car, I could just do that. I would also suggest taking out this connector right here and this connector and removing this entirely. I'm just gonna rest it right here. If you do decide to do that, I would suggest covering your head unit and trim down here so nothing potentially gets scratched. Now, two T20 screws right in here underneath the screen. We're gonna remove those. Be careful because these have a tendency to fall into the pit of the unknown, void of darkness, whatever you would like to call it. And once you get this free, remove it. I also like to have on standby instead of needing those pliers. Sometimes these can be tricky to remove. There you go. And keep those screws, you will need them for the reinstallation. And now, since the screws are out, simply lift up the screen. And we're going to disconnect the video cable in the back, push in this tab here and pull out. I like to use a trim tool for a little bit prying assistance. So once you push that in, pop out with the trim tool, done. Now, 10.25-inch screen with custom fingerprints that I've added to it. Flip it around, check the orientation of the video cable, which will be tab up and then the pinching tab off to the right here, just how we removed it. This, I don't know if I can show you. It's a big screen. feel around, get it in there, bam, you feel it connect. Turn the screen around, drop it in the same mounting locations the other one came out of. Now we're gonna grab our T20 screws and simply add them right back in to where we took them out of. This is where I have the tendency to drop screws, so make sure you're careful. All right, tight, but not overly tight. If you disconnected any of these, plug them back in, reinstall the trim. This is where you get to take out some anger. After you finish the installation of your screen, you're gonna need to start your remote coding session, which you'll book before you begin this process. You'll need your laptop, your coding cable, you plug it into the OBD2 port. Now we're not gonna get into full detail on how this remote coding session works. We have full videos on that, link in the description. Of course, you could always call our support team if you have any questions with that. But once the coding process is done, you can start up your screen just like this. Ba-ba-da-da! Your new 10.25-inch screen looking absolutely amazing. Haha, made it. And now this F30 seems like it belongs in 2024. Touchscreen, bigger screen, and if you pair it with a wireless CarPlay and Android Auto MMI Prime or Pro, you will have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto right in front of you. Guys, if you want this screen, head on over to our website, enter your VIN to get yours today. As you can see, it's super easy to install, so you can pick up our DIY Essentials Kit and Trim Toolkit to make that even easier. But don't worry, if you don't want to do it yourself, you don't have to worry about that either, because we have a certified installer near you. We have them in about 30 countries around the world. And hey, if you're in the Orlando, Florida area, well then stop on by and we can do it for you. Even if you're not, guys, stop on by, meet the crew, say hello, and of course, get it installed. And since you're here for a screen, if you really like screens, ditch those archaic analog gauges that you find in your F30. They are so old school, replace it with the 6WB digital cluster. I think it's one of the best things that we offer for an F30. You will love it. So for more tips and tricks, product reviews, and so much more for BMWs, Minis, and Supra, make sure you subscribe and don't forget to ring that bell. And hey, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. Thanks for watching.